Hello everyone! If you're new here, I'm Alan with 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗚 and this channel is all about sharing the joy of candle making. Now today's video I'm very excited about. So I've gotten more into gourmands recently. When I was a kid, I really only liked like fresh fragrances, clean fragrances, kind of moodier, a little bit perfume-like, cologne-like fragrances that were kind of more niche. My mom was always into baking fragrances. And I grew up, if you guys are brand new here, in the candle shops with my mom, and I actually hated it back then. But long story short, a lot of the scents that she used to like that were baking fragrances, I like now, today, and I cannot wait to do this unboxing. So we have here a mailer with, I think there's 8 different oils in total by Candlescience from their Baking Memories Bright 2025 new fall and holiday collection. But if you are new here, yeah, my name's Alan and I'm a little bit obsessed with fragrances and proud. This kind of content brings a smile to your face. Subscribe to the channel and let's get right into today's video. Oh my god. I'm so excited to smell this one. Now, as always, I'm gonna do the unboxing right on camera for you, so if the oils are all over the bag, you can see that. And this video is in no way sponsored or affiliated with Candlescience. As always, I like to do my fragrance videos unsponsored and unaffiliated. And also, these are just my out-of-the-bottle first impressions. So always smell these yourself. Fragrance is very subjective, and something that you really like, I might not like. Something that I really like, you might not like. And I don't know if I said that backwards. Anyways, these are just my out-of-the-bottle first impressions, so always try these in wax and make sure that they meet your expectations. So let's get right into this. So Candlescience's recent packaging has been in these fragrance flights. Let me see the little lid here. There we go. And I think that it's really cute. I also like how they're paper, so they totally break down, totally recyclable. No idea what to expect. So, as always, I don't look at anything prior to these videos. I like these videos to just be my out-of-the-bottle, like, total surprise in what I'm smelling. Now, that said, I will put the notes up on the screen for you all, but I haven't consulted any of those notes prior to the filming of this video. A lot of you guys just like to know what I think and kind of what I'm picking up. And as always, we will be using blotter strips for this video. Because you can actually get a more balanced profile. I'll link some of these guys down below. You can get them right on Amazon. They're just a couple bucks. But they really help you when you're smelling a fragrance to get the top, middle, and base notes. Obviously, at first, you're going to get mostly at the top note. But then as you let the fragrance kind of sit on the strip and it dissipates, you'll pick up more of the middle. And then lastly, the base is the last thing to dissipate. Base notes actually can stay for several days. It's quite interesting. Let me know if you guys would like more videos kind of talking about top, middle, and base notes, maybe about how to blend fragrances and kind of what I'm looking for when I'm doing that. I know I've had a couple of you ask, but let me know. Anyways, first up, ooh, I'm very excited. We have Banana Pudding Parfait. Now, Candlescience Banana Nut Bread is a really good scent. In my opinion, I've used that for a number of years. I sell it currently as banana bread and walnut, but I actually do add another fragrance to it to bring out and intensify more of the bread notes. So I'm very curious about that. We've also got Pear Mascarpone. That also sounds interesting to me. They have a really nice pear orchard fragrance, I want to say it's called. But the Hot Throw, I really had trouble picking that up. I tested it out in CB2 a couple years ago when that was released. We have Sweet Potato Souffle. It's kind of interesting. Ooh, rice milk and oats. I love the sound of that. I feel like a lot of their branding recently has catered more toward this market, this kind of day and age. The way that they're wording things on their bottles, so it's more kind of cottage core, but also a little bit dark in some of them. Not really in these baking ones, but in a number of their launches, it leans slightly dark, slightly apothecary, but in like an alchemy way, and I love that. We have Hinoki Cypress. Candlescience has a number of good cypress fragrances. I love cypress and bayberry. Actually, you can blend that with Fraser Fir. My exact blend is in my Patreon, but it's such a good scent. It's one of my best sellers. It's our Cedar Sauna candle, and Fraser Fir just by itself is my Douglas Fir candle, and it's my most popular one at Christmas time. Anyway, Hinoki Cypress. Also, I will be ranking all these from my least favorite to my most favorite, as always, over on my Patreon. So if you're not already a member, you can join below. And you also get all my formulas. And you get one-on-one support with your candle making journey for literally just a few bucks a month. All right, we have whipped lavender. What does that say? Whipped lavender creme. That sounds like it kind of combines like a lavender vanilla type of a vibe with like a limoncello cream. So anyways, that sounds interesting to me. Salted honey butter. Now Midwest has a really good honey butter fragrance. I'm curious how the Candlescience one is gonna be. I haven't smelled the Midwest one though, so I can't compare. Midwest fragrance, if you are watching this, send me some oils. I would love to review you guys for free. All right, we have Foraged Red Currant. Now, Candlescience has a couple good red currant fragrances. I'll put the names up on the screen of my personal favorites. I also love their black currant. Black currant is more of, I would say, like an upscale type of a note. It can be something that you have like in a spa collection, like a hotel collection. Red currant can as well. And I really love the addition of foraged in the name of this. I think it caters to today's market really well. If you guys have been watching my videos also for any amount of time, my last review that I did of Candlescience was probably one of the hardest review videos I've done. So I'm really hoping that these fragrances come together. Like, I don't know whose nose was on their team for their 2025 part 1 to their holiday fragrance launch, but it was not congruent with a lot of their other fragrances. I will just say that. Let's take a look at this banana pudding parfait. Expecting something kind of like the banana nut bread. Ooh, and I'm smelling something really intriguing to me like a foot away, so. Anyways, here we go. Wow. Okay. Yep. Okay, I'm definitely getting the banana pudding. Now, the parfait, I am getting that as well because it has like a whipped type of a component to it. Now, this is a sweet, sweet fragrance, but I would expect that based on the name and the branding. I do get something a bit powdery that I wish were toned down, and I do also get like a coconut type of a note that I think is working really well in this fragrance. To me, actually, I could see this being branded in the summertime as well as like a, like a banana ice cream type of a scent, because I really get some nice vanilla notes. Candlescience has a number of good vanillas too. I'll put some of my favorites up on the screen. But yeah, this is got a strong powdery component to it. But everything else about it I think is working really well. I just wish the powder were toned down and the banana notes are a true banana. It's a sweet banana, but I would, again, expect that based on it being like a parfait. Next up, let's take a look at the Pear Mascarpone. Now, I really hope that this is... So, Candlescience is... oh, God, I'll put the name up on the screen again of the fragrance I'm thinking of. I have so many hundreds of fragrances that I'll reference at random, and my nose can remember them, but sometimes my brain, like, forgets the words. You guys, can you relate to me? Also, I need a sip of coffee. I think it's Brandied Pear. I loved the original Brandied Pear by Candlescience, the clean scent version, the updated clean scent version, because they did the original and then they made it a clean scent. The first one was my favorite, but then the one after that to me smelled more like bubblegum than actual pear. Brandied pear, cask-aged pear is how I've sold it at markets too. So I'm hoping this kind of maybe captures that, but also maybe a little bit of like an orchard pear, like a freshly picked, juiced pear. Here goes Pear Mascarpone. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I am getting almost exactly what I described, I would say. It's a balance between something that's a sweeter baking type of a pear, like Brandied Pear, and a fresher orchard pear. This is very well done. This is my single most favorite thing that I smelled out of this collection so far. I've only smelled one oil, but also out of my whole last review that I will link above as well. That was my most critical review I've ever done of Candlescience. And I feel really bad about it, but I just have to bring you guys my authenticity. That's why you're here, right? Thumbs up this video if you are enjoying it, and it'll also let Candlescience know to keep sending me these oils for free reviews on the channel, because they know that you guys are enjoying my content with them. So yeah, this is really, really a good balance, I would say, of a baking pear and a fresh pear. I'm getting some kind of brandied, baked down, caramelized notes, maybe a vanilla base, maybe a tonka, but there's also maybe something woodier in the base too, or something that's a little bit more upscale to this one. And as it dries down more, I'm detecting that middle, and it's a really rich, decadent middle note that has this kind of boozy, brandied aesthetic to it that works excellently with the brighter top notes and the warm vanilla caramelized base. Let's take a look at the sweet potato souffle. Now, this fragrance is very interesting to me. Like, the name is very interesting to me. I really don't know that I would ever want something like that in a candle, but I got really surprised because when I did the Black Tie Brown Raised Garden bed review, and I'll link that review down below as well, there were some that were like called topsoil and beetroot and all kinds of things. And I can smell something already a foot away from this that's very intriguing. But they were things that I would never expect to like, and some of them were even wearable in my opinion. So I don't know. I feel like this could work. Wouldn't hold it past them. They've had some good perfumers on the team as well, so I don't know. Here goes sweet potato souffle. Let's see what it's gonna do. Oh. Yeah, so this is a rich baking fragrance. It's definitely got more of a spice to it. I'm really getting the sweet potato. It has a warmth, and I just splashed it all over myself. It has kind of almost a warm buttered vanilla quality to it. And that is working really well with the more starchy notes of the sweet potato. Now, that said, like with the first one, the banana pudding parfait, I do wish that the powder notes in this were toned down a bit. That may come through better in a candle. What I am smelling is really congruent and it's working well together. I almost describe it as like an orange fragrance, like the color orange. There's no orange in this for sure, but it's a warmth and it's also like an embracing. I feel like this would be really good if you live in the South too and you have sweet potato pie. You could definitely brand it that way. It's also got like some slight nuttiness to it, I would say. I am getting quite a lot of the powder. Also, I hope you guys don't mind this background. So since I had surgery, this basically helps me to be able to better access my plants back here. Because before, when I had the table back there, I was like having to move it every time I had to water, and that's just not feasible for me yet. So let me know if you guys don't like this backdrop, because I'll try to have like a friend come over and move this and help me out with the table and stuff, because I still have like a 10-pound weight limit. But if not, I actually might keep it this way for a little bit longer, just because, I don't know, I kind of like it. I like changing it up too. So anyways, here goes the next fragrance. We got rice milk and oats. Very, very intrigued by this name. I'm expecting something like an oatmeal milk and honey, but done a little bit more with a twist, a little bit more modern. Let's see what rice milk and oats is gonna do. Oh. This is not what I expected. This is lighter out of the bottle too than anything I've smelled so far. I'll dip it again a little bit further here. This is interesting. So this does remind me almost of like a little bit like an oatmeal milk and honey fragrance, but also a little bit like a golden milk fragrance. Yeah, it does have like a golden milk. It has like almost a bergamot or a bright citrusy top note to it, I would say, but that blends really well with the mid and base. There's a 𝗏𝗍𝒄𝒽 fragrance this reminds me of. I'll put the name up on the screen of the fragrance. Manuka milk and bergamot honey, I want to say. That fragrance is very, very expensive. And I will do a side-by-side because I have that oil of this and that oil, the rice milk and oats with the Manuka milk and bergamot honey on my Patreon. So, but yeah, I'm definitely getting a bright citrusy top note to it, and I'm getting the oats for sure, but it's more combined with that sort of cooling rice kind of golden milk quality. I think if you have a apothecary type of a collection, that this could work really well as like a golden milk, golden turmeric type of a scent, moon milk. Yeah, I think I like this more than their moon milk fragrance. I didn't review that one very highly. I can't remember the full name, but I'll put it up on the screen. I would definitely prefer this fragrance out of the bottle to that one. Next up, let's take a look at the Hinoki Cypress. Now, Hinoki is a note that always intrigues me in fragrance. It's a more exotic note. You'll find it a lot of times in like high-end perfumes and just in wearable scents. Not like hand cream. Oh my God, and I can already smell something like a foot away that's very intriguing. But combining that with cypress, I think could work really well. It's gonna be kind of a bright, woody, earthy, exotic type of a vibe. I don't know why this one would be in a baking collection, but I'm still here for it. Anyways, here goes Hinoki Cypress. Oh. Yeah, okay. This to me smells like, it smells like a Christmas tree farm, but it has enough different than something like Fraser Fir that I still wouldn't necessarily recommend having both, because this is very similar to like a mistletoe, like Candlescience mistletoe, like a balsam and cedar. You could market it that way, or like a Christmas tree, fresh cut Christmas tree type of a vibe. But this one, I would say, leans more upscale, almost like it has a little bit of their, like a smokiness to it. This has to be my favorite thing I've smelled so far out of this whole collection and part ones of this collection. They do really, really, really well with their pine scents at Candlescience. Whoever's doing those, they've got to be some of the best on the whole market, in my opinion. Like, they beat out almost any other company I can name for their tree scents and pine scents. And that's such a big category for me. This is so well done. So this is like if you took like cypress and bayberry and combined it with like some Fraser Fir maybe, or mistletoe. So it has a slight pepperiness to it, but it just comes through as really like an upscale pine. This is, and it has like almost like a citrusy quality or like a fruitiness, but it's really subtle in the background, just kind of rounding it out and making it feel more like a hug at the same time, but like out in the wintertime, in the forest. Next up, let's take a look at the Whipped Lavender Creme. Very intrigued by this name. Expecting something lavender-like. Candlescience Lavender is a really good true-to-life lavender, I would say, in a fragrance. If you're looking for something similar to the essential oil, I wouldn't really recommend it by itself. Hot throw can be challenging with that one, but if you need it as like to blend in some lavender, I would recommend it. Now, this one, with it being whipped, I expect something more vanilla, more parfait-like, more gourmand, and maybe more upscale with the creme. Here goes Whipped Lavender Creme. Oh, this is very light out of the bottle. What I'm getting I really like, but it's hard for me to actually detect what I'm getting out of the bottle. So it smells like a nice, calming lavender note, really subtly, and there's a lot of powder in this. Yeah, I think that if everything I'm getting were intensified, I don't know that I'm getting, well, I guess I am getting something kind of more lavender vanilla-like, but it's very, very light. I like everything that I'm smelling. I wish there were a bit less powder though, and I have said that about like 3 or 4 fragrances. I'm like the powder police. I can detect powder in a fragrance like nobody's business, and it's a note that a lot of people really like, so keep that in mind too. I personally don't like a lot of powder, but this fragrance, it also kind of strikes me like a moon milk, like an apothecary warmed milk type of a fragrance. Steamed milk, lavender, moon milk or something, lavender milk. It's calming, it's spa-like, it leans upscale, but there's too much powder, and I wish I was getting more of everything that I'm getting. All right, we got 2 fragrances left. I'm very excited for them. Also, if you are still watching, give this video a thumbs up. It would mean the world to me, and like I said before, it lets Candlescience know to keep sending me these fragrances because you guys enjoy the videos. And if you're another fragrance company watching this, and you feel confident enough in your product, send me it. I'd love to do a free review on the channel. I do give authentic reviews though, if you haven't noticed, so. Anyways, we've got Salted Honey Butter. Very excited for this one. Like I said, I haven't smelled the Midwest one, but I've heard really good things about it. Ooh, and I can smell something with this like a foot away. That's very intriguing to me. I'm definitely getting like the honey and the butter. I'm expecting something kind of like a salted pretzel, salted caramel. Anyways, here we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this reminds me of Candlescience's Creme Brulee fragrance, also like a dulce de leche, but gone a little bit pretzel, gone a little bit more modern at the same time. like a salted caramel, salted pretzel, but I'm also getting a warm honeyed component. And Candlescience's honeys also have to be some of the best I've smelled. Spiced honey and tonka is a primary example of that. That fragrance, in my opinion, is the best tobacco fragrance on the market. It doesn't have that much tobacco. It's more of just like a calming, comforting. You'll just smell it as nostalgia in the fall. But this one to me has almost like a similar honeyed note to it, but it's also maybe has a little bit of bourbon to it. It's like you took a bourbon fragrance, like a Kentucky bourbon, or you took like a more gourmand bourbon, and you combine that with something a little bit tobacco-like and something that's kind of like a caramel pretzel at the same time. And all of it really works. And there's not too much powder in this fragrance. There may be a tiny bit, but it's working really effectively with everything else in there. And I'm getting a lot of like warm vanilla notes to this. Candlescience also has some of my favorite vanilla fragrances. I'll put some of the names up on the screen. Yeah, this is really good. I'm curious how this compares to the Midwest one. Last but not least, we have Foraged Red Currant. Very excited for this. I'm gonna put a couple of my other favorite currant fragrances by Candlescience on the screen. I think the black currant and jasmine has to be my most popular, that I use with their sandalwood candle in my Wanderlust collection for my Prague scent. Oh my god, and I can smell something like a foot away that's very intriguing about this. But I've also used Candlescience's, I think it's called Red Currant. I'll put the name up on the screen, but that fragrance blended with their black currant absinthe, and that has been my sparkling winterberry candle. So, big fan of a lot of the currant fragrance oils from Candlescience. Here goes the foraged version. Let's see what it's gonna do. Oh, wow. This is really intriguing to me. I don't know that this would be that popular though. This, to my nose though, is very inspired. Wow, okay. In my opinion, this leans high end. This leans almost like slightly boozy in an upscale way, in a way true to a currant. If you smelled like 𝗬𝗏 37, I think it is, by 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏, this reminds me of like the red currant, slightly gourmand version of that. Wouldn't really call this a gourmand. Wow, this is just a beautiful foraged berry type of a scent. Yeah, this leans dark too. This would be a perfect dark orchard candle. I like this more than their dark orchard scent. But it is more of a currant. I'm almost getting some apple notes to it though too, or some other dark fruits, maybe some plum, hints of cherry. There's something else in here that I can't quite pinpoint that's a really upscale note. The base to this is also, feels to me like a sheer woods, like a light musk, really, really refined aesthetic. Has to be one of my favorite things I've smelled in this collection, as well as part one. Well, huge thanks to Candlescience for sending me these oils for a review on the channel, and thank you so much for always being okay with my authenticity. Candlescience, for those of you guys who don't know, has actually encouraged my authenticity. And all fragrance companies really have to on this channel. I'm gonna say what I wanna say. But Candlescience continually, even when I've had negative feedback, has strongly encouraged my feedback. And that means so much to me, because it tells me that they're confident enough in their product that they can take constructive criticism from someone who, even with my small channel, I feel like I'm probably one of the more known ones in the candle world for fragrance review videos. And it just allows me to feel totally free to create. Anyways, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed. Head on over to my Patreon, where I will be ranking these not videos, fragrances, as always, from my least favorite to my most favorite. And yeah, leave me a comment below if you've smelled any of these oils, how you brand them, what you think of them. And I'm sending all of you peace, love, and light, and I'm wishing all of you happy candle making.
I'd like to take the time to thank my patrons for their incredible support.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each. When living essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. Silence the noise away from the program, removing performance, true self, all that's standing. Live free from worry, live by just being, power in finding your wholeness in now. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. Live a life you adore.
Keep being yourself. Stay authentic at all costs. And never lose your spark. Because that's what makes your brand uniquely you. I'm rooting for you. And I know you have what it takes to be successful and to have fun with this craft. Until next time, happy candle making.